Hello everybody, welcome back to Over Yandere, a game I'm currently developing and hoping to publish fairly soon. So this week I fixed up the background animation for the character Reginald because I found that the clouds in the background, when the animation restarted, it would just reset them back to the left and you would see that jump. I found that a bit odd, so I dug into why it was doing that, because that's not what I intended, and it turns out the animation was looped, which was preventing what I actually wanted, where it goes all the way to the end and then it kind of pauses and then starts from there and goes back to the beginning slowly. It's a much smoother effect and you're much less likely to notice any kind of jump or anything like that. I think it just looks better, so that's the first thing I fixed at the start of this week. Next, I started playing through the game as part of testing, and I found that when you go from free roam to, say, the settings menu via the pause menu and then go back to free roam, that all of the E to interact messages don't show up anymore. And also the transition back looks a little odd, as you can see the world loading in behind you. So I dug into that and I've now fixed that, so when you go out to a different menu and then back in, it's now a bit better. Still not exactly what I want, I'm going to keep working on that, but you can no longer see the world loading in behind you, and the E to interact messages are now there for you when you come back. So those are the improvements I've made there this week. Another thing that I realized when playing through the game was the settings menu. So the settings menu has places where you can change the volume of several things, so emotion sounds and the soundtrack. And I realized that when you change these things, there's no way for you to know what these changes will do, what they actually sound like. Which is kind of odd, because you'd kind of have to change them, then exit out of settings, figure out what they do by hearing them, and then go back into the settings and change it. You're kind of working blind. So what I've now added are some little microphone buttons to let you hear what that will sound like, what that volume sounds like in the game, so you can get a better feel for, is this too loud? Is it too soft? And the one without the volume button is the soundtrack. The settings menu has a soundtrack playing in the background, so when you move the slider, that background audio will change in volume, so you can figure it out from that. Also, we got some more art in, so Taylor now has his shocked art, so Taylor now has all of his emotion art, all of that visual novel art, and now we're only waiting on the sad art for Gloria, and that will be everything we need. And last but not least, when playing through the game, I found that something I had set up previously kind of did a little more than I wanted it to. So on the last day, Friday, if you don't trigger any of the endings in the talk to section, talking to other characters, you really should just go to a game over because you didn't get any of the endings, instead of going to a free roam section, which you can't do anything with, you can't trigger any endings with, and then getting a game over. I just felt like it would kind of waste people's time. So I added a check for that. But now that I'm playing through the game, I've found that that check actually overrides the last day, and if you try to actually trigger an ending on the last day, if you can, you can't, and it just kicks you over to that you didn't get anything screen, which isn't what I wanted, so I've now found that and fixed that. So some of the endings that were blocked off by that inadvertently, those are back up and running, and good to go. So that's what I've added and fixed up this week. Let me know what you think. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.